which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And may we have a roll call?
Yes. Ignacio Alegre. Brent Beasley.
Here.
Dave Elliott.
Here.
Simon Gonzalez.
Here.
Jack Haley.
Here.
Margie Knitter. Here. Patrick Cortheis.
Here.
Priscilla Liviano.
Here.
Enrique Perez. Linda Rose.
Here.
Robert Ruiz. Darren Rutledge.
Here.
Stacy Sanchez.
Here.
Christine Snapper.
Here.
Bob Tucker.
Here.
Dennis Varnum.
That's it.
Andy Wadera. Madam Chair, you have quorum.
Thank you so much. And thank you to our 3 new members for coming this morning. And you may have noticed some new faces around the table. Jack and Christine and Simon. Welcome.
Thank you. Do they know what they got themselves into?
No, don't tell them. It's too late. Okay, so our first order of business is our consent calendar. A couple items, miscellaneous on there. The workforce calendar, the committee meetings for the rest of the year are in your packet. Thank you. The executive committee met and we approved number 5, which is just the transference of some funds that were allocated to dislocated worker into the adult. If you have any questions on that, please let me know. Otherwise, motion on the table. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, motion passes. Let's move on to our business calendar. I think we discussed this, but I really don't remember what this one was.
Right.
Approve the participant personally identifiable information policy. Oh, I'm sorry, we discussed this.
Second.
Thank you. I'll have Deborah kind of explain a little
Can we
bit
shorten the title?
what it is. I know.
Wait, staff calls it PII policy.
All right. Which is just, in a nutshell,
Is to instruct staff to make sure that personally identifiable information, social security numbers, driver's license, we do gather information during the eligibility point, is kept only in the file. If it is transmitted, it's never transmitted via email, or social security numbers are abbreviated to the last 4 digits, or we use the state identified number, which is a computer generated number, and then we go off that number going forward and never using the socials and things like that. So it's also to inform staff on an annual basis, where we'll send out the policy again, have them sign saying, yes, I'm aware of the importance of keeping this private. Files aren't to be taken home, et cetera, they're to be locked in the evenings and things like that. So every year we'll do that. We hadn't had a strong policy, and it's come up in monitoring, and so now we have a much stronger policy. It's also to inform our youth providers, our contractors, subcontractors. So our youth providers will be made aware of it, and our schools that we work with, our vocational training schools, will also be informed the importance.
got it. So it's like a regular training process as well as a policy.
Yes.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, motion passes. Okay, wow. End of our business calendar. A lot today. But important stuff that has time-sensitive needs to be approved. Okay, so let's move on to our work study session. As you know, we've been working on our bylaws and updating those for the WIOA. And we may have some changes that need to be done to our current bylaws, and we're looking basically for a subcommittee to be willing to review the bylaws and make some recommendations. Do I have any interested members, or shall we suggest people who didn't make it? Okay, so thank you so much. Anybody?
So what took place in December is the state monitor came and monitored our programs, and one of the areas that she looked at was the Workforce Board's bylaws, and she compared it to the regulations that were passed in 2000, or the regulations that came out in 2016. She asked me a few questions, and she said, look at this, and There were 17 different things that a bylaw should have, and we were deficient in about 4 of those areas. Not that anything was in violation, it was just weak, such as, do we allow for proxy votes? The bylaws are silent, we don't allow for proxy votes. And she said, that's fine, but just say that, we don't allow proxy votes. So there's a few little phrases that we need to insert or say, no, we don't do this, or yes, we can do it, such as they'd like board meetings to be able to participate in the board meeting even though they're away. And that's been a question that's come up a couple times. But in order to do that, so say you're in Sacramento for a meeting, for those that have to go to Sacramento a lot, you can participate in the board meeting via conference call, but you need to post the agenda at the hotel that you're at. You need to be in a room that someone can go into and sit there and listen to the meeting if they wish to do so, because we follow the Public Brown Act. So it can't be your hotel room, unless you're okay having guests come to your hotel room.
Right.
But it needs to be like in the lobby or something like that, or
So
if you're
sorry,
on a
just-
business trip, overseas, you could do that in conference call, but it has to be open to the public.
Wait, just for clarification, if this meeting is open for the public and we have participants participate via conference call, you're saying that on their end, that part has to be public too?
Right, and so then I would put on the agenda too, Stacy Sanchez is participating at the Hyatt Hotel in Sacramento. And you see that occasion with city council members, occasionally they're flying into DC and the clerk does that. And then as staff, I would have the hotel sign a form saying, yes, we did post the agenda, because I'm not there to physically see it.
No, but I've actually seen that, because
Yeah.
I walked by someone's hotel room.
Okay, you found something.
I said, what are you doing, Hector? He said, no, I'm on the air quality control board. They're going to have a meeting. I said, are you kidding me? They're posting it on his board.
Yes.
That's hilarious.
So there's just a few nuances. Overall, the bylaws are good, but we've had the bylaws since 2016 because it's on the bottom. It says when it was adopted, and just now the state has said in 2019, 2020, you're deficient in these areas.
So the state is asking us to use their template to mirror what the potential rules could be?
They suggested it, and then also we've looked at a few other workforce boards that address some of those areas. And so I'd like to have an ad hoc committee work with staff in identifying some of those areas and then bring back revised language to the board, hopefully at the March board meeting for you to adopt, and then it would go to city council for acceptance.
Okay. I will participate too.
I'll participate.
Excellent, Dennis. And I'm guessing we could do it in one meeting.
Yes.
Anybody else? We'll put something out, I guess, and see if there's anybody else interested that didn't attend today.
So that's what came up in the monitoring. Overall, I think monitoring went well. A few little nitpicky things, but they have to go away with something sometimes. But they're also teaching us that when they do monitoring, we also have to show proof that we saw nothing wrong. And so we're also now starting to give guidance to us that you need to scan things that you saw that was being done well to demonstrate that they're doing things well.
It's not enough to just say, they were great. There was no problems.
No,
Okay, well,
no
show us why.
findings, nothing was wrong. They're like, show us what you saw to support that they had strong eligibility documentation, or that they had strong fiscal, show copies of the general ledgers that had no findings. So,
Evidence.
Yeah, there you go.
right.
Quality control.
So the bylaws and the PII is what came up. We needed to have that adopted. We had it as a draft. They said, okay, it needs to be adopted, and the bylaws. So that's why it's here today.
Okay. Thank you. And we'll meet and make some changes. If you decide you want to join us, let us know. We'll put that, of course, public information out when that meeting will be held, so you can decide to attend. Okay, so we've been doing some board member highlights as part of our meeting so that we have a better understanding of what each other does outside of this board. And today, our member highlights are Darren and Dr. Linda Rose. Dr. Rose, would you like to go first?
Sure. Yeah. I didn't bring enough, but I will pass around. This is the schedule for the spring term, but I also brought a fact book. And this, we published this fact book now, if you understand, I want that. we published this fact book. We've been doing it for the past 3 years now. And the purpose is it's a very comprehensive look at the college. And it includes information as it relates to the city of Santa Ana, the population, the role the college plays in the community, in the city, and where we want to go and what we want to do. But I think the fact book really does get to the heart of the college's role in this community. And what I will do, if you do want a copy of the fact book as a member of the board, would you please let Deborah know? And then I'll make sure that you get a copy of the book. And then you'll get on the list for the research department. So when it's updated, we can make sure that you get it.
Okay.
My role as the president of Santa Ana College is, what do I want to say about my role? It is, the college is over 100 and it's about 104 years old. 1915 was when the college was founded. And for the last 20 years, we've been undergoing shifts. And a lot of those shifts are around construction. If you have not been to the site, to the college, right there on 17th and Bristol, there has been a lot of new construction going on. Our Science Center will open in the fall of this year, hopefully, given that we don't have any storms or anything like that. But the Science Center will open in the fall of this year, where we will be moving all of our science programs, biochemistry, physics, all of those programs will be moved to this brand new state-of-the-art building. And what's so significant about that is that that state-of-the-art facility in this community will do so much for not only younger people, K-12, but also adults who want to re-enter college and change their careers. Because we have lots of adults who have decided they want to go back to school, and many of them do want to be nurses or doctors or go into some area of STEM because they're a little more mature and they feel that they can hunker down and study and do the things that they need to do. So we're really excited about that building opening. And then we will have our student center, the Johnson Center, that will open the following year. And that facility will have a conference center that can seat up to 300 people on the top floor, which is a great thing because the rooms can be configured differently. And the intent of the college is to utilize that space in the community, where meetings can be had there during the day and morning or whatever, but that's one of the intents of that center. And then we'll be having another meeting come online, another building, the Health Sciences Center. Hopefully we'll break ground for that in the next 2 or 3 years. That's another area. And then, we're undergoing a bond, and that's all I'm going to say about that. That whole process.
Yeah, stop on that bond.
Exactly. That's all I'm saying. So.
Third one.
I know.
The
Oh my God.
bond is Measure L,
Yes, yes.
and that's on the
March.
March.
and it will help pay for some of these things.
Yes. We have a career technical workforce education programs on our campus, like welding, auto tech, diesel, which is combined manufacturing. We also have a culinary arts. We also have fashion design. And all those programs are very viable programs. And the facility for welding and I don't think people know this, but where the programs are located right now, that was originally the district warehouse. And consequently, it was repurposed and retooled, but with the technology in welding and manufacturing, it doesn't stand up to what it needs to really provide students with the right type of education and training they need to go out into the workforce. So we have a great partnership with Lincoln Electric where they actually have a facility in Santa Fe Springs, and we're able to kind of do some things there. And we're working with Garden Grove. We have a Lincoln, it's called a Lincoln Education Center, and we may hopefully have some welding classes there. And so those are the kinds of things. So my role essentially is to ensure that the programs that we have on our campus, not only are they innovative, but I've been encouraging the faculty and staff, we need to do some cutting edge stuff in Santa Ana. We have Bear. I toured the Bear facility recently, and I was just amazed at what goes into making paint.
That's an awesome facility.
Oh my gosh, that manufacturing plant is amazing. So there's a need for chemists, logistics people, mechanics, welders, all kinds of jobs and positions. Because when people think of paint, they don't think of all the ancillary positions that are necessary to keep that company going like that. And many other companies are very similar to that. So I try to get out into the community and help and bring back information to the college to help the faculty and staff understand that we have a role at the college. Because with workforce education, it's not only about the skills, it's about helping our students understand that whether you go to work in the manufacturing plant or you're in an office building, you still have to read, write, and compute. You still need to do that. If we can't figure out how to help students bridge that and understand those skills are necessary and they go together, they're not separate, we're not doing our job right. So because I hear from employers, okay, their skills are fabulous, but they don't know how to talk to people.
Right.
Their skills are so fabulous, but Linda, they're having a difficult time communicating or doing some other things, and
Looking
that's
up
not
on their
good.
phones.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah. Oh my gosh. The phone thing, or they communicate with us like they're sending a message on email or emojis, using emojis in business correspondence. It's like, oh my God. So anyway.
Yeah, those are really those life skills and those skills where you're communicating just the basic protocols of communicating with each other.
Correct.
And sometimes
Right.
missing.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
That's
So
a
I
big issue.
often when we have our upcoming convocation on February 7th, and when we have them twice a year, one in the fall, one in the spring. And when I get all the faculty together, one of the things I do talk about is that things need to be together. I used to teach English. I did it for almost 20 years. And it wasn't just about we need to learn the basic and all about literature and all of that, but you need to be able to go out into the world and communicate with other people. You need to understand them, and they need to understand you, regardless of your native language. Period. And that's just the whole thing. So anyway, I love what I do. It's a hefty role, but the college is moving in a direction, I think, that will impact this community continuously in very positive ways. The workforce education programs and our work with the city is just wonderful. We just want to expand it and make sure we can do more and do better things to ensure that the citizens of Santa Ana and beyond have access to a quality education at Santa Ana College.
So as the youth council chair, you do the request for proposals, and your different organizations come in, all of them partner with your school. And as a retired person, I've taken some of the fun classes there, and they've been useful. And I'm a homeowner association board member in a fairly large community, and I'm encouraging our folks to support Measure Out.
Excellent.
And I know the Lincoln Center because I live in Garden
Yes, yes.
Grove, and so folks are doing some great work.
Yeah, very exciting.
So,
Very exciting.
Linda, first of all, I commend your leadership. And we've talked about the adult learner
Yes.
in the past, and I'm glad you brought that up because I think sometimes we don't think in terms of that 35-year-old or 40-year-old that's looking at a new, and I'll just use a quick example. One of my staff members is getting her welding certificate.
Wonderful.
You know, that kind of thing, and probably has a couple of, job opportunities coming up in the next period of time. And, that's an adult learner that's gone back, that's taken advantage of what you're providing beyond the 20-year-old, as an example. And I think that's important for us to know, and I know that's an emphasis that you have.
Yes.
And then I just want to mention, when you were talking about the communication stuff, I heard about a class that UC Berkeley started last year by 2 students called Adulting. How to be an adult.
I believe it.
And the person that was telling me about this last night was telling me all the stuff that was happening in that particular course.
Wanna get that
And
curriculum.
the course is
Yeah.
just packed with students to learn about how to be an adult.
Yeah, yeah. I just bought my son a book.
And
called
I'm
How to Be an
going, I want to take that class.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
anyway,
We can't find that on the
Congratulations.
internet or just look it up.
I
Oh
know.
my gosh.
Need
UC
some
Berkeley
guidance?
Adulting,
Yeah,
That's
with
why you give me your medical forms. Here, fill them out. That's
Yeah.
adulting.
yeah, exactly.
Well, it is. My son turned 18 today, and I bought him a book for Christmas, and it's called How to Be an Adult, and it has things like how to, you should be able to do your own laundry, go to the grocery store, prepare the food that you buy. I mean, simple things like that.
And you will go to jail.
There you
something
go.
wrong.
That's what I was telling
Mom
him.
and Dad can't
You're
bail
not
you
getting
out.
under the wire. Last week I told him that. They're going to try you as an adult, son. Don't try to sneak anything in. Okay, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
And Darren, that brings us to you.
My name's Darren Rutledge. Originally, a little bit about me, I'm from Fort Worth, Texas. I was born and raised there, and worked in a grocery store for a few years and decided that I wanted to do something different, so I joined the Navy. And then during my course in the Navy, I did 3 tours in the Persian Gulf. I was transferred out here to California, and I lived in the Seal Beach Navy housing. During one of my visits back home, one of my sisters introduced me to a lovely young lady, and we've been married 32 years now. We have 5 children. And then in 1995, I got out of the Navy after the 8 years, and in 1995 I got in the car business here, because I didn't know what to do, and I didn't have I was an electronic warfare technician in intelligence in the military, and I couldn't really find a job that really correlated too well. But I did develop some skills as far as attention to detail and work ethic and things like that I didn't have, and I'm glad I joined the Navy because I didn't have those beforehand. And I started in the car business in 1995 and worked at a couple places, and in 2000 I was fortunate enough to apply to a actual newspaper help wanted ad in the Orange County Register, and it was for a used car manager position at Guarantee Chevrolet. And so I applied for that position, and after several interviews I got it, and so I've been there for 20 years. It'll be 20 years in February.
Wow.
And it's a family-owned dealership. It is a community-based business. I love working there. I love who I work for. Actually, we have the 2nd and 3rd generation of the family that owns the store now involved with the store. Actually, Guarantee Chevrolet's been in the city of Santa Ana since 1946. It has been currently owned by the same family since 1974. And so now, and actually in that time, I'm the only non-family member to be a general manager for the dealership, so I feel very fortunate. We are very involved in the community, as perhaps a lot of you know. As Santa Ana Unified School District, we're on our 14th year now of giving away a free car to a student with perfect attendance. We believe that program is working because each year that number of qualifying students has increased.
Wow.
And we just know that that's a win-win. You know, it's a win because it keeps children in school where they can be and learning. It helps the school district. So we have continued that program with that free car. We also are very involved with St. Joseph's Hospital. We donate a car to them each year as well to help them. And we also donate a car to Hope Builders Tyler San Jose each year. The at-risk youth programs that they offer are incredible. We really believe in that program, and so we've been associated with them now for probably about 15 years. We also hold like the annual pancake breakfast that we've now, this was our 25th year that we sponsored that, where we raise funds for the Santa Ana high schools for their programs, sports programs, band, drill team, dance teams, whatever. Whoever wants to participate, we welcome that. We have about 125 employees. We do about $100 million a year in sales. So we generate a lot of tax revenue for the city. And it's just really, it's a great business. And I've worked for corporate companies before, and the reason I stayed here so long because the family that owns the store really, Mr. and Mrs. Hamlin, they really care about the community. They really care about people. A lot of our employees, they start out at entry-level positions, and then we always try to promote from within. And even technicians and stuff like that, we love to get technicians from like Santa Ana, college and even some out of the high schools, their programs. And then we just try to train them up and give them that opportunity. And some of those people have been with us for a long time. And that's pretty much about it. Anyway, I'm glad to be there.
Thank you.
I have an SUV in my garage that came from your
Oh, yeah?
Chevrolet, yeah. Still has the frame around it and all
Yeah?
that.
Well, we appreciate that.
Favorite little car, it always starts right up.
That is a
It'll
good.
sit for 3 months and it's so dependable.
Well, thank you very much. So we do that at every meeting, have a couple board members give us a little bit more in-depth background so we have a better grasp of what each other does. And then our next, today was going to be, we had a presenter, Alexandra Napov, and she was going to present on punishment without crime. Bob saw her speak and had suggested her as a potential speaker. And unfortunately, she had something come up today, and so she had to bow out. Yeah, sickness came up today. So Bob's going to just tell us a little bit about what she's going to talk about, but we will have her rescheduled for another time.
The League of Women Voters, which I'm a member of, you can be a male and be part of that. And they have some amazing speakers, different groups, and they help with elections and things. It's a pretty amazing organization. So this Alexandra comes from UCI and works at their law school, and she spoke about the misdemeanor crime system. And it kind of surprised me that 80% of our crimes are misdemeanors that are out there. That's 13 million people, and sometimes it's from very, very minor stuff, sometimes more than minor. But the effect on people, how it can sometimes destroy their lives. If you have a conviction, you can't get a job. And then I was thinking about how the other statistic that some of us have heard about, that 2/3 of the people in this country can't come up with $400 in an emergency. So if you have a misdemeanor crime, you can be ruined. And then you can't find a job. And in Ms. Natapov's words, and it was just enlightening. And so sometimes and I know sometimes in union work, sometimes people say, make a deal, plead guilty to something. No, if you're innocent, the system should be there for you. You shouldn't be rushed through the system just to be done with you, because it ruins people's lives. It was quite enlightening to see the effect. And sometimes prosecutors, local, are pushed to look that they're tough on crime and want to see a lot of misdemeanor crimes because the statistics, I'm tough on crime, but it's destroying people's lives. I hope she can come back and give more detail. But in her words, she writes, the misdemeanor system widens the rich-poor gap by punishing low-income and working people on a grand scale. It makes it a crime to do a lot of things that poor people can't help doing, like failing to pay fines, fees, speeding tickets, or car registrations. It strips working people of crucial resources like driver's licenses, housing, and credit, which hurts their ability to earn a living and thrive. It pushes the poor back into poverty even as civil welfare programs struggle to lift them. U.S. jails are filled with working poor and homeless and individuals who are solely there because they could not pay a fine or fee. I've seen homeless people get tickets for camping, and even if they go through the court system, and our court system, I learned through the Superior Court system, I try to get on the grand jury, is terribly underfunded. So the fines and fees, they say, if you think a fine's $100, well, you look at all the fees that are tacked on that we've all experienced, and it goes to $500. And so...
It's like debtor's prison.
Yeah, truly. I had not realized what a big impact this is. And for us, when people are trying to find a job and you see that criminal record, and it's maybe just a misdemeanor, it may stop some people. There are employers that do give people a second chance. If you Google which companies in Orange County will hire a felon, there's a whole bunch of them actually that will give someone a chance. One of them I found out was Baskin Robbins. They're doing flavors. I had a homeless person I became acquainted with in my neighborhood. There was a Baskin Robbins across the street, and he had a felony, and he was trying to get on his feet, and they hired him. So I hope she can come back and speak.
Good. I'm sure we'll get her in here sometime this year.
So that's the
Sounds fascinating,
that's the
though.
short version.
She sent her regrets. She emailed me late Tuesday evening. Said she's come down with, a flu type symptom. She's like, I don't think I'll be ready by Thursday.
But Debbie has her book. Deborah has her book here. If you want to take a quick look on your way out, or
Gives me more time to read it. I hadn't finished. Okay.
looks interesting. Thank you, Bob. Okay, we don't have any committee reports because we haven't had any committee meetings. So our next section is comments. I don't see any public attendees, so I'm assuming there's no public comments today. Staff member Carlos has showed up, so I'm wondering if he has something to say.
Yeah, just a couple of things, really quick.
He always has something to say.
Nice shirt.
If you would take, well, you know what, let me go on the other side, that way it can be quicker. If you want to pass that to your left, I'll start over here. The Work Center has partnered up with with the United Way to host free tax filing events. What they do is the United Way hires tax experts, and they offer free tax preparation services to low-income people. It's by appointment only. If you know of anybody that's interested, have them call the number on this flyer. They'll file an appointment, and we'll go ahead and host them. We're going to loan our computers to them so that they can prepare their taxes. The U.S. Census continues to hire. We've been hosting them for the last 3-4 months. We had a recruitment there yesterday. I believe about 15 people showed up. Most of those will be offered jobs. Of course, it's for the season. They are coming again next week. So if you know of anybody that's looking for some part-time quick work, the U.S. Census is always hiring. Thank you.
But can you tell us what's the pay rates on some of those jobs?
$20.
Yeah,
17 to
the
20
census.
bucks.
It's about,
Really?
yeah,
We'll talk about Thursday night.
way above minimum.
That's nice.
Thursday night hosting entrepreneurial classes.
Yeah. Okay. I think some of that is,
We haven't met since May, so.
We haven't met since May. Okay. Did that answer your question? Because that's
Yes.
more or less what they're paying.
That did.
Some
They pay well.
positions are coordinating positions, so they pay a little bit more where they coordinate a team. From probably about August till October, the Work Center also partnered up with a nonprofit organization here in Santa Ana, where we hosted worker cooperative classes at the work center. They met for a period over 10 weeks, from 6 o'clock till about 9 o'clock, where they helped approximately 25 people learn more about working cooperatives. It was their pilot project in Orange County. They're looking to do more, and if they do, we'll gladly help them. It was fantastic. It basically taught these guys the concepts of workers cooperatives, where they can join together and buy a company or buy a business together. It was fascinating. They're very, very thankful.
Interesting.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank
Can I
you.
make a comment on the census?
Yeah.
So, if you know senior citizens like Jack, I had a friend, I told him about one of the presentations we had,
Yeah.
79 years old, and did the first phase, making $20 an hour, loved it. It was a great opportunity for him to use his car and drive around and do his thing. So don't forget those older folks, because they would love to
Oh, yeah.
know something about getting something on a part-time basis and be able to,
Short term.
and, some purpose and that kind of thing too.
So I did mention that we had a couple of new board members. If I could, I just want you just to introduce yourself and let us know the company and or, your, not the full-on 5-minute presentation, but just who you are and what you do.
My name is Jack Haley. I'm a partner with Lead Associates Commercial Real Estate. We sell and lease industrial and office properties here in Orange County and throughout the country. And I've been doing the same work for about 30 years.
Great. Christine?
I'm Christine Snapper. I'm with Social Services Agency. I've been with the agency 30 years. My current position is I'm the Division Director for Family Self-Sufficiency and Adult Services. So I took Nathan and Deborah were the two predecessors before me. And so we work with families trying to really help them be sufficient, self-sufficient, helping them through employment, helping them with other services. And then I also have the adult services world, which has to do with our seniors, adult protective services, and home supported services for those that can remain home without being in a facility or a nursing home. So we pretty much oversee that part of the community. I also have 28 years of child welfare experience. I was a deputy director in that world for 29 years, so this is a new position for me.
Thank you. Interestingly, Christine was approved last year, but we haven't had a meeting yet, so.
Well, I am Simon Gonzalez. I am the general manager of DF Stoffers Biscuit Company. We operate in Santana. That was originally Laguna Biscuit Company. That was moved from Laguna to Santana 20 years ago. And I have been with the company 3 years. We have been growing very fast, and we are needing people. We have been normally hiring around 500 people all 3 shifts. We belong to a Japanese company called Meiji, one of the strongest company in Japan. And they are really behind this operation. We are the only factory. We have 2 factories, one in the East Coast and one here in Santana. But we are the only ones making the Meiji products, the very highly differentiated products. And they have been investing in the last 3 years over $11 million in equipment, technology. So we are going so fast. In the last 3 years, we have been doubling the production from the previous year, and that's a problem now because we need talent, we need people. I'm glad that Dr. Rose mentioned about that possibility because we need people, and the future is very good. Most of the labor force belong to the city, Santana City. So we are happy to be. I'm happy to be here and also very excited about what we can accomplish together. So thank you for inviting me to join.
Thank you.
And looking forward for a productive process on this one.
Thank you.
Simon, we did a retention appointment with you guys about a year or so ago,
Yes.
and had to put all the gear on and walk the.
Correct.
And
Correct.
it was awesome.
I invite the board if one day we can meet at the factory and then
that would be great.
That'd be awesome.
You know, one of the things that and with what I was thinking when Linda was talking about what's happening at the college, at some point it might be good for us to maybe have a meeting there and get a little tour. And I think the same thing what Simon's talking about with Stoppers. It's a great plant, and you might even get a couple of cookies or biscuits or something.
There you go.
Possibility.
I love it.
Yeah, when you're highlighted, you'll have to make sure we understand what kind of products you have.
We're not trying to compete with Deborah, so.
Well, anyway, thank you so much. We appreciate your participation. Okay, our next meeting is scheduled for March 19th. Please note that in your calendars, and I would entertain a motion for
Can I make an
adjournment.
announcement?
Oh, yes.
I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. I should have asked if there were more board member comments. So sorry.
I wasn't able to bring a flyer, but our 6th annual GROW conference, that's the Economic Development Conference that we do with the city, is coming up February 20th. A new venue this year is the new Elks Lodge. If you've not been there, it is a Taj Mahal, especially compared to the old Elks Lodge. But you can go on our website if you want to get some information. We have 3 emphases this year. We'll be emphasizing with Christine Ridge several of the new developments that are coming online and are being built right now, residential, industrial, commercial. We'll do a segment on arts and culture this year, and we're doing a 3rd segment on tourism and hospitality. So those are the 3 main focuses that we'll have with the presenters on February 20th. So just wanted to mention that to you.
Thank you. Any other members have a comment? Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to comment with Ms. Snapper. I'm taking care of my mom with Alzheimer's and helping her in her home, and my brother and I she took care of us as babies. We're helping her, and the social services organization has been extremely helpful, giving us some great guidance on how to manage that. One employee in particular, Mitra Bustamante, was awesome. So I just want to let you know that. Thank you.
Thanks.
I'll pass on the good word. Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay.
Move to adjourn.
Now, thank you, Brent. All in favor? All right. Excellent. Thank you so much.